Mike's Glass and Radiator in Independence, where you'll find Mike Muscarella and his crew hard at work on a full range of services. Whether you need a radiator repaired or conditioned, or just your annual inspection sticker, you'll find Mike Muscarella easy to work with. Mike has all styles of glass, custom cut to fit. Need a windshield? Mike Muscarella will have you back on the road in no time. Mike is easy to find, just off Highway 51 in Independence. Mike's Glass and Radiator. For generations, Citizens Finance has been known as Money Headquarters, with money to lend for any worthwhile purpose. Real estate loans, furniture and appliances, home equity loans, consolidation loans, and first and second mortgages. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters. Stop by today. There's an office near you. Amite, Ponchatoula, Kentwood, Covington, and Hammond. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters. Hunt Wireless, the name to know when it comes to cellular telephones. Hunt Wireless is a Bell South Mobility authorized agent with all the latest in digital and analog cellular phones. Let Hunt Wireless take you into the new millennium with the cellular phone and package that fits your needs. Hunt Wireless, the name to know when it comes to cellular telephones, now and in the future. Hunt Wireless, located Bogalusa, Franklinton, and Hammond.
Live from under the water tank in Kentwood, Louisiana, you're watching the high school game of the week on FPTV Channel 17. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Willoughby, and tonight, the game of the year, perhaps, in Tangipahoa Parish. It's brother against brother, number one versus number one, Warriors versus the Kangaroos. I don't know if Shakespeare could have written a better introductory than this one here tonight. The stands are jam-packed. We're still moments away from kickoff. This should be an outstanding contest here tonight, no question about it. Both teams, as we mentioned, ranked number one in their respective classes. Amite, the number one ranked team in Class 3A. The Kentwood Kangaroos, the number one team in Class 1A, and also back-to-back defending Class 1A state champions. Athletes all over the field tonight, prospects everywhere. Kentwood led by LSU commitment Sarek Johnson. Amite led by fine tailback C.J. Baptiste, as well as quarterback Brandon Wagner. The list goes on both of these ball clubs. We'll talk about the players as the game progresses tonight. Joining me as a special guest tonight doing play-by-play will be Jimmy Ott, who is the co-host with Deke Bellavia on Sports Weekly on FPTV. Also has a radio talk show on the Score 1210 in Baton Rouge. He'll be joining me in a few minutes as we get set to start tonight's ball game. What we're going to do is take a quick break, come back, and we'll set the starting lineups for you and have the opening kickoff. You're watching high school football on FPTV Channel 17. Back after this timeout. Coach, the one in the back.
And now, Kentwood Kangaroos coming in from the south end of the field. Kentwood Kangaroos.
And welcome back to FPTV's coverage of the high school game of the week. The Kentwood Kangaroos coming onto the field. The Amite Warriors still waiting behind or underneath the goalposts. And we're about 5 minutes away from kickoff here tonight. And it is electric in Kentwood, Louisiana, under the water tower, or water tank, they like to call it here in Kentwood. Tonight, fans are lined 5, 6, 7 deep around the stadium. Both sides of the stadium tonight are jam-packed, and especially here on the home side, it's standing room only as the Warriors are coming onto the field. Again, I expect to be joined here momentarily by Jimmy Ott of Sports Weekly fame, who is on his way to the ball game. He had a radio show in Baton Rouge to do today, and he will be here momentarily. And we'll be joined by Jimmy Ott. He'll be handling the play-by-play tonight.
The career bowl.
But again, Career Bowl is what it's being dubbed by the local media, the Daily Star, the folks here in Kentwood. Donald Career, of course, the head coach at Amite High School. David Career, the head coach at Kentwood High School. They're brothers, 4 years apart. Both, coincidentally, did their student coaching under Charles Baglio at Independence. Both have state championships under their belt at their respective schools. And perhaps the only brother tandem in Louisiana to make that claim. Of course, Donald got his championship in 1994 with a 38-21 victory over St. James. And Kentwood has won the last two Class 1A state championships after they defeated, Central Catholic in 1997 and St. John of Plaquemine a year ago. Captains are on their way to the center of the field, and the captains for the Kentwood Kangaroos are number 79, Johnny Poole, number 9, Alfred Ard, Deshaun Lee, number 75, and Sarah Johnson will be your other captain for the Kangaroos. Warriors will be captained by Brandon Wagner, Daryl Edwards, looks like Roosevelt McGee, and Dennis Edwards are the captains for the Kentwood Kangaroos. Officials going over the instructions in the middle of the field. Elsewhere around the parish and the area tonight, Hammond High takes on the Salmon Spartans. That ball game is in Hammond. Ponchatoula is on the road at Hahnville. The Independence Tigers hosting the Donaldsonville Tigers. And the Albany Hornets, the big battle of Livingston Parish, taking on the Springfield Bulldogs. That ball game being played in Albany tonight. Kentwood has won the toss. They'll receive the opening kick. Kentwood will kick off, and they'll defend the north end zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you...
So we're going to take another break, come back as we await the honor, who should be here momentarily. And we're going to take a break, come back with the opening kickoff. You're watching high school football on FPTV, Channel 17.
Marine Corps. And let the game begin.
Mark Willoughby back under the water tank. Kentwood, Amite set to do battle. The Warriors will be kicking off. Damian Thompson will do the honors. Deep to receive for the Kangaroos will be Addison. For Kentwood, that'll be Cedric Addison, the flying junior, 5'10", 170. He'll be flanked over there by Ard, as well as Desmond McKnight. Nice high kick, comes down to McKnight at the 10. Takes the ball back left side, runs into his own man, falls there at the 20-yard line. Flags flying on the play.
Dirty laundry on the field.
As both teams hyped and fired up here tonight. McKnight on the return.
Number 16 for the Kangaroos.
Looks like he was stopped
Dirty
on the
laundry
play.
on the field.
As we check the roster for the Warriors, that looked like Milton Harrell on the stop. It's
Cliff
flipping
called
against the
Kentwood Kangaroos.
Kangaroos, so they make the first
So the
mistake
Kangaroos
tonight.
will start deep in their
And they'll be
territory.
backed up inside of their own
First and
20-yard
10,
line.
Kentwood.
And it looks like this ball will be marked off to the 10 after the clip, half the distance to the goal line. Again, fans still driving into Kentwood, still getting off the interstate, pulling into the stadium. I see tens of dozens of cars still trying to park. Fans still trying to get into the stadium as the Kangaroos will do it first down at 10. Led by quarterback Cedric McKnight, who is a 2-year starter in this offense. Also started plenty of ball games his sophomore year. He'll be in the backfield along with Matt Garrett. At tailback, he'll get the first call on the dive right up the middle, and he picks up 7 or 8 yards. Ball is on the ground, but whistles blow. And let's see how they unstack this one. I heard whistles as apparently they whistled Garrett down after a gain of about 4 yards. And I think it was a premature whistle as Garrett kept the pile moving and picked up 4, but the ball came loose. Amite jumped on it. And a pretty good gain on first down for Garrett. He's 5'10", about 235 pounds, a converted lineman. And he'll get the bulk of the carries here tonight for Kentwood. Carried it 20 times last week for 117 yards. Here's McKnight on the roll. Fires it incomplete. Pass intended for Addison and broken up out there.
Intended for number 6, Addison.
By number 48, Ephraim Okachuk.
3rd and 5.
That'll bring up the first third down of the ball game. Kentwood moving from left to right, wearing blue trimmed in orange. Amite wearing the white uniforms trimmed in purple and gold. And I tell you what, you can't get a better night for high school football. Temperature, about 70 degrees at kickoff. Not a, well, some, a few scattered clouds, but nothing of consequence. No rain in the forecast. Should be a great night for football. McKnight on the play action fake, looking for the wide open receiver over the middle, but throws it behind him. It was intended for Addison. He was all by himself, but apparently McKnight, who's only about 5'6" or 5'7", threw the ball behind him, and Kentwood will have to punt it away here with 11:20 to play in the first half. First quarter, I should say. So the Warriors hold their ground of the first defensive series, and Kentwood will have to punt it away. Jarrell Carter, the fine punt returner for the Warriors, transfer from Hammond High. Had a fine, good punt return last week and played outstanding free safety for the Amite Ball Club. Doing the kicking is Ard. Here's a low line drive, fielded at midfield by Carter. Turns the corner, takes it down to the 32-yard line where it's hammered by Matt Garrett. Matt Garrett put a hat on him. And Jarrell Carter was met right there and stood up at his track at the 32-yard line where Amite will have it first down and 10 at the Kangaroo 32-yard line. Of course, a year ago, Kentwood was widely renowned for playing an entire ball game on their side of the field. Well, tonight, looks like the roles will be reversed. Amite gets it in great field position at the 32. Wagner under center. Home setback is not Baptiste. Here's a give straight ahead to number 34. Is nice running room out there.
79 made the initial hit for the Kentwood Kangaroo.
That was LaMarcus Bennett getting the start at tailback for Amite. He picks up 7.
Gang of about 6.
I'll call it 6, not by Johnny Poole on first down.
But the Kangaroos 27-yard line.
Brandon Wagner, your quarterback. Hutchinson, Edwards, Roosevelt McGee, Patrick Patterson, and Reggie Harvey, your other linemen. Oscar Perry, also a wing back, man in motion. This will be Wagner on the keep. He'll forge ahead for a couple down to about the 25-yard line. Met there by a host of Warriors.
Wagner.
As we unstack the pile, who gets off the bottom looks like Jerome Williams.
3rd and 2 for the Warriors.
Gain of 2 yards.
Decision time for the coaching staff of the Amite Warriors. 3rd and 2.
And we are right underneath the PA system here, and I cannot hear myself talk, as you can obviously tell. And we'll do the best we can. This is probably one of the liveliest places in all of high school football to watch a football game. Wagner staring down at 3rd and 2. Straight ahead dive, Baptiste. He'll have the first down as he powers his way up to the 20-yard line. And he'll pick up about 4 on the carry. And Baptiste, his first carry of the night. That's an Amite first down to the 20.
Push on. Amite.
These ball clubs have not played a regular season contest since 1990. And that ball game was won by Amite. Kentwood's last win in the series was 1983. Of course, they have battled in Jamboree action the last 8 years, but Kentwood winning the last 2. Amite with 1st and 10, ball at the 20-yard line. Julian Harris has on the carry. This is Carter. He's hit for a loss of 5.
Welcome to Kentwood, number 78.
Jarrell Carter is stopped for a loss in the backfield by Paul Dyson as Jarrell Carter hammered on the speed, and that's a big loss on first down. And you do not want to get in long or second and long situations against the Kentwood defense. They like to put pressure on you.
Number 78, Paul Dyson.
And they have done that, just that here, as Amite sends in a host of replacements.
6'4", 245.
Cletus Gordon into the ball game. Oscar Perry along with Nathan Solomon. No backs in the backfield. Baptiste split to the left in a slot formation, and we have a flag on the play, and this is going to be perhaps a neutral zone violation on somebody. It's going to go against the Kentwood Kangaroos, I think.
Kangaroos lined up in a neutral zone. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
That's a mental mistake. I know David Career absolutely hates. They get the stop for a loss of 5, and you give the 5 yards right back.
2nd and 10.
Lining up in the neutral zone. Of course, this Kentwood defense orchestrated by Doug Masita, who does perhaps as good a job as anybody in Louisiana. Kentwood has a lot of players going both ways tonight. Let's see how the depth factor plays in the second half. Again, no backs in the backfield. Wagner has Baptiste in motion. He'll have it on the speed play. Cuts it up inside. He's hammered at about the 18-yard line. And picks up about 2 yards.
Proud sponsor of the Kentwood Kangaroos and Amy Warriors.
Dyson and company on the tackle. And it'll bring up third down. Oh, call it 7. Gain of 3 on the play. Ball at the 17-yard line.
Just across the street from Ramada Inn.
Kentwood received the opening kickoff. Couldn't move it. Amy was set up by a nice punt return by Jarrell Carter, and they have it third down at 7, and another flag is down. And this might go against the Warriors. Kentwood pointing toward the Amy direction. So both teams a little bit perhaps nervous here at the outset. This is a huge ball game for, I guess, everyone involved. Not only is it a battle of number 1 ball clubs, but it's a battle of brothers, a battle of friends. These two towns only about 20 miles apart.
Ken February, state representative.
And it's a battle of Tangipahoa Parish. Again, Amite ranked number 1 in Class 3A. Kentwood, the number 1 team in Class 1A. 7-17 and counting here in the first quarter. Third down and 12 after the 5-yard penalty. Here's Wagner, straight drop. Looking, ball is loose. And they're going to call Wagner down at the 36-yard line as Dyson in on the stop on the sack along with, I believe, Deshaun Lee. And Amite, who was set up at the 32, have gone backwards here in their initial possession. And now the Warriors will have to punt it away, I do believe. It'll bring up fourth down, and we'll call it 25, 26 yards, and the Warriors are going to go for it from the 35-yard line. So Amy's going to go for it here. Man in motion is Solomon. On the reverse, Oscar Perry has some interference out in front, but he slipped trying to turn the corner and has dropped to the 36-yard line. You wonder why the Warriors maybe didn't try to punt and pin them. They played outstanding defense on their initial series. You wonder right there why they didn't try to pin them, but again, they failed to make it. Kentwood set up in pretty good field position at the 36-yard line. As a little Otter has made his way to the press box. We'll try to get in here. We try to set up here as a handoff. This is Mitch Winters on the carry. Winters picks up first down yardage out to the 46-yard line. And Jimmy Ott has made it to the stadium. And Jimmy, how long did it take you to get in here tonight?
Well, he had a lot of traffic jams, Mark, and packed house, to say the least, and for all the appropriate reasons. First time in the parish history, number 1 versus number 1. And not only number 1, but unanimous choices by the Louisiana Sports Writers poll. 12 votes in both the 1A and 3A polls for both Kentwood and Amite.
Of course, setting the stage, Kentwood had the football in their opening possession, couldn't move it. Amite was set up after a nice punt return at the 32-yard line, but they went backwards, and Kentwood has taken over with the football. And eventually, as we get settled here, we're going to turn over the play-by-play duties to you. But for right now, Kentwood about half a yard short, maybe inches short of the first down at the 45-yard line. And Jimmy, how electric is the atmosphere here tonight?
No doubt you can feel it's very tough getting up here, first of all, but you know, the obvious comparison, the similarity with the two brothers coaching against each other. Both have state championships in their record book, but I think, Mark, very similar styles. They both build their teams around speed and physical defenses. And kind of a, you know, head-to-head type of matchup tonight. And, you know, both run to, like this, you know, kind of like to spread things out a little bit. These some type of, I guess, a derivative of the wing T formation, which they come out right now. So Shedrick McKnight in the wing T formation. First man through, gets the fullback. Matt Garrett with the carry. Here comes a flag from the back judge.
Garrett on the carry.
Heads it up for the first down. We'll see what the call is, but
Face mask.
be a
Called against the
as you see
Warriors.
the call, face mask against the Amite Warriors, but Amite a blown opportunity early, something that you just don't get too many scoring opportunities against the Ruse defense.
Well, penalties obviously bit them in the backside, and of course, great Kentwood defense as we've grown accustomed to seeing over the last 5 or 6 years. So the 15-yard penalty marches Kentwood into Amite territory for the first time tonight, as that was tacked onto the end of the run. Matt Garrett, again, a converted lineman from a year ago, and Jimmy gained 117 yards last week against a tough Clinton defense.
First and 10 for the Ruse at the 37-yard line. McKnight, fullback, gets it again, but he is hit and driven down at the 36. Big hit that time by number 26 for the Warriors, Chris Gordon, a 5'10", 210-pound senior linebacker. But there's that physical play we talk about. Looks like the fullback had some running room, Mark, but driven hard down to just a 2-yard gain.
Chris Gordon, perhaps one of the finest linebackers on an Amite defense. He, along with Dorsett Buckle, stepped up and put a big hat on Garrett and stopped him for only a 1-yard gain.
Hard McKnight, the 2 wide out sweep left side. With the carry is Addison. He breaks the tackle. Ball is loose, picked up by the Warriors, and they got it again.
And the Warriors take over.
Another scoring opportunity, this time for the Ruse of Kentwood, as they penetrate the 30-yard line of Amite, but they turn it over, and the Warriors will take over at their own 29-yard line at the 4:44 mark here in the first quarter of play.
Couldn't see who made the hit there, Jimmy, but this is typical Amite Kentwood football, physical from the outset. Multiple train wrecks going on the field, it seems like, on every play, and right there the ball came loose. Amite back in business now with the football at the 25.
Oakwood home. 3-4-5.
A timeout on the field.
South Morrison Boulevard.
So that'll allow us to catch our breath a little bit in this electric atmosphere, to say the least. But Mark, this is one that they've been waiting for quite some time. Both a lot of tradition at 2 of the schools playing for the first time in quite a while in the regular season.
I've been waiting nine years for this game, Jimmy. 1990 was the last time these two teams played. And of course, it was an unfortunate injury to a young man who was paralyzed. The Bromfield kid who was paralyzed, that basically put a cease to the series for the last 9 years. And finally, they were able to work it out, get them back on the field in the regular season. They have played the Jamboree the last 8 years. It's just not the same when you're not playing for 4 quarters with something riding on the line.
Well, one thing we talked about last year, that Kentwood, they do have a lot of returning starters, but last year was as good of a 1A football team that we've ever seen in the state.
It certainly was, Jimmy, and this year they're going to be maybe not quite to that level, but they're just a notch below. But they're led by Derek Johnson on that defense, the LSU commitment. They're still very physical and still have a lot of foot speed, and they're still just as tough to move the ball against.
So first and 10 for the Warriors. Wagner under center in motion, gets the ball to the near side. And a lot of running room out past the 45, 16-yard carry that time for Oscar Perry. And Perry, who came in motion. One of those plays that they picked up for the University of Florida and Steve Spurrier's offense, but something that we have seen Amite run in the past.
Right there, Oscar Perry, who's a 10.5, 100-meter man, Jimmy. He's one of the fastest guys in AAA. And he had the corner turned there. Kentwood didn't have any force on the corner, which is unusual, and Perry cut it up and had some running room, picked up the first down.
Batiste alone set back to the right side. Gordon and Warford, there goes in motion. Batiste up the middle, tough running, about 5, just past the 50 into Ruse territory. And C.J. Batiste, who is drawing the attention of a lot of major programs around the country.
Can go 5, second and 5.
And that's where he makes his living. I keep bringing this up, but physical style of play, and he is definitely a physical style of runner, Mark.
Yeah, 2 very physical players meeting in the hole there as Dyson hit him head up. Batiste reminds me a lot of a Joe Morris type of running back. He's built very low to the ground, has a low center of gravity, He's a 500-pound squat guy, runs a 4.5 40, and you have that combination together. He's tough to bring down, but Kentwood, again, a very physical defense, and it's tough to move the ball against him. Something that's new to high school football this year in this area, Jimmy, the officials are calling timeouts at the 6-minute mark, basically as a precaution against the heat early in the season to avoid cramp. So you'll see an official timeout during the 6-minute mark of each quarter during the month of September.
Not much as a factor this week with a little bit cooler weather, but obviously a smart move. So Brandon Wagner and his Warrior offense now 2nd down and 5 just inside of Kentwood territory. Perry in motion to the right side. He gets it to the right side. Nice contain, and then finishing it off. Good contain that time by Sarek Johnson. And I'm trying to catch the number who finished him off. Number 52, Carl Morris. So maybe once, but not twice, as nice job of contain, and then the fill by Morris.
Morris trying to take over for perhaps the greatest defender in Kentwood history, Eugene Thompson, who's now at Grambling. And Morris is certainly a capable replacement. You saw the pursuit there as Sarek Johnson cutting back inside. And Morris has shown to be quite a replacement for Eugene Thompson, something that David Creer, I know, was worried about coming into the season.
Julian Harris and Dennis Edwards check into the game. They're both to the right side. They pitch it to that side to Batiste, and he's got the first down before he is leveled inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. That'll stop the clock with 2:55 to go in the first. And the Warriors with a 1st and 10 at the Kentwood 43.
Jimmy, that was a new wrinkle in this A-Meet offense, something probably never seen out of a Donald Career offense. They pitched the ball to the wingback, which was Batiste, lined up in a no-back situation. He was almost coming in motion. He pitched it and goes back around the right end. That's an ingenious play to pick up the first down.
Solomon and Thompson split to the near side. Batiste, the lone setback. He gets it straight up the middle, trying to bounce off of tackles, but he cannot do it. Sarek Johnson leading the charge, along with number 75, Deshaun Lee. And for a 1A team, you look at Lee, Armstrong, and some of the guys in tight for Kentwood. Not your typical 1A football team.
And Jimmy, I think they're a little bigger than the program list. I know David Career likes to undersize his players on his roster, as Donald Career does too. Those guys are bigger than they're listed. And I tell you what, they go both ways tonight. But Jimmy, they're very well-conditioned athletes. They don't wear down easy. A-Meet's very deep. Let's see if it takes its toll in the second half.
2 for Batiste on that first down carry. Here's the toss sweep near side. Batiste trying to get some room, and he is tripped up inside the 40 to the 37. Nice open field tackle that time by Mitch Winters, the senior cornerback for the Roos. But 4-down territory here for the Warriors, and so that will make the call a little bit more interesting on 3rd and a long 3.
Right here, A-Meet has had a propensity, I know, last week against St. Helena and earlier in this ball game when they've had 3rd and short, they've jumped off sides or lined up off sides. I know Donald Career wants to avoid a mistake here, at least give him an opportunity to pick it up on 4th down.
You see on this drive, both to the right and the left, they have tried to get Batiste to the corner quickly. He is alone setback, 2 wide outs to the right. Batiste up the middle, bullying his way close to first down yardage, and he appears that he will have it at the 33-yard line. So Batiste looks like he has enough for a first down, and they'll stop the clock with 1:03 remaining. The officials will make sure of it, but they'll call it in. But he looks like he has it by about a half a yard or so. But he is the workhorse for him.
Yes, he is. And I think you see the strategy here. Donald Career, it looks like he's going to try to pound brother David and try to wear out the interior of that Kentwood defensive front. A lot of those guys, again, also play on the offensive side of the ball. So they're going to try to pound Batiste inside, run the speed occasionally. We haven't seen him go to the air but one time. And, of course, Brandon Wagner was sacked for a big loss. It's tough to throw anything deep against Kentwood because you don't have time to get it off because they like to get upfield with their defensive ends. You're going to see A-Meet just trying to pound that interior, and eventually go play action later on.
Batiste, the only guy in recent years to rack up 100 yards against the Evangel Eagles. Also against St. James, he had a terrific game against Rick Galey's club. Of course, they beating Rick Galey's club in the finals for their championship. Batiste with more room this time. Nice job up front, blocking that tough interior defense. About 8 down to the 25.
And there you see it again, right there. They fake the speed play, go to the speed dive to Batiste, and all he needs is a crease, Jimmy, because he has such shifty feet and strong legs. Usually the first tackler misses, and that's what happened there. He's able to scoot ahead for close to first down yards again, short by a couple.
Mark, it looks like they have the Kentwood front kind of guessing whether he's going to try and hit the corner or just pop it inside. This may be the last play of the first quarter. Second and a short 2. Perry in motion to the right side. Batiste gets it. He's close to another first down. And he appears to have enough for the first down near the 23. It is a first down. They'll move the chains and start back up the clock with just 3 seconds, and that will do it for the first quarter of play.
For generations, Citizens Finance has been known as Money Headquarters, with money to lend for any worthwhile purpose. Real estate loans, furniture and appliances, home equity loans, consolidation loans, and first and second mortgages. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters. Stop by today. There's an office near you. Amite, Ponchatoula, Kentwood, Covington, and Hammond. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters.
Mike's Glass and Radiator in Independence, where you'll find Mike Muscarella and his crew hard at work on a full range of services. Whether you need a radiator repaired or conditioned, or just your annual inspection sticker, you'll find Mike Muscarella easy to work with. Mike has all styles of glass, custom cut to fit. Need a windshield? Mike Muscarella will have you back on the road in no time. Mike is easy to find, just off Highway 51 in Independence. Mike's Glass and Radiator.
10 Amite at the 22-yard line of the Kentwood Kangaroos. Toss sweep near side. Somebody besides Batiste with the ball for once. This will be LaMarcus Bennett, 175-pound junior running back. And he gets about, maybe 1 down to the 21. It'll be second down and 9. So early on, a couple of opportunities missed, Mark, but something you cannot afford against both of these stingy defenses.
No, you can't. Anytime you have an opportunity to score against either one of these teams, you have to take advantage. A bit of a surprise tonight. Bennett started the ball game and actually carried it on the first play of the night, which was a surprise that Batiste didn't start, but Batiste has been the workhorse ever since.
3 wide outs, 2 slot guys. Batiste, one of those guys to the left. He is driven down, lit up that time by number 52, Carl Morris. And there we talk some of the licks. And Batiste, they caught him before he had his shoulder squared, and Morris just tattooed him.
And again, move over Eugene Thompson. Carl Morris patrolling that middle, Jimmy. Certainly, obviously, you can't say it's Eugene Thompson, but the performance here tonight belies that fact, as he has made several outstanding plays, and right there hammered and lowered the boom on C.J. Batiste.
3 wide out set. Batiste alone setback. Play action. Present. Oh, my! Oh, baby, the hit and the sack by Deshaun Lee. Deshaun Lee, the senior defensive lineman, with another level job. And you talk about this proud defense responding to a Warrior drive.
But Jimmy, Amite likes to line up foot to foot. Their splits are very, very tight. There's not a lot of room as far as the width of that defensive line. And if your defensive linemen are more athletic than the offensive line, it is real easy to get pressure on Brandon Wagner. And right there, Deshaun Lee just came unblocked. He outrushed or outran, I guess, the offensive tackle, and it was a mismatch. And Batiste is hurt. And Jimmy, he took a big blow, Wagner is hurt, and he took a big blow to the back of the head, and that's a big blow to this Amite offense.
Wagner goes to the sidelines under his own power, so if anything, maybe he just got a little bit, they rattled his cage pretty good on that one, and just beating your man up front. Obvious passing situations when you allow this Kentwood team to pin their ears back and just rush the quarterback. It's going to be very difficult to do.
Jimmy, I saw them 2 weeks ago in the Jamboree against Loranger, and they had it on cruise control that night, won at 38-7. 35-3. This is a much different Kentwood football team here tonight, as we suspected. The intensity is there. These guys are jacked up, and this is the ball club that reminds you so much of the 1997 and 98 edition.
Well, you're in 4-down territory, 4th and 16. And as they talk about it, we'll take a timeout. 9:46 remaining in the first half. No score. Amite and Kentwood on FPTV Channel 17. Wait till they break. And welcome back. Under the tank for this colossal matchup of #1 teams. In 1A, the Kentwood Kangaroos. In 3A, the Amite Warriors. Jimmy Ott along with Mark Willoughby on our FPTV Channel 17 Game of the Week. Absolute pleasure to be a part of this broadcast tonight. 4th down and 16, and after being shaken up, Wagner will let Lester Ricard, a sophomore, take over. Short drop, he is hit, and the ball falls down to the turf, incomplete, and the Roos turn away the Warriors and take over on down.
Carl Morris, once again, Jimmy, came on a middle linebacker blitz and came untouched. And that right there, foot to foot, that's the last place you would expect pressure to come from, would be in the interior. But Morris just knifed right through the heart of the Amite offensive line. And Amite, other than a couple of runs on the speed play by Oscar Perry and Baptiste, Kentwood has been the aggressor on defense here tonight.
Sonic, Highway 38, support the Kentwood Kangaroos.
With those two hits by Morris and Lee, and then Morris again, the home side of the stadium really coming alive. Inside give this time. The ball carrier, number 35, Jeremy Coleman. Or about 3, it'll be 2nd and 7.
Right there, a little inside trap to Coleman. Kentwood and Amite run a lot of similar formations, Jimmy, but they run their offenses a little bit differently. Kentwood's more methodical. Amite likes to run more up-tempo with their offense, but again, Kentwood has to rest some of those players on offense because it's such an outstanding defense. Even though the formations are the same, a lot of the plays are a little bit different.
McKnight, first man through. That is Garrett for about 2 to the 34. It'll bring up 3rd and a long 4 now for the Roos.
Give him 2. 3rd and about 4.
Both coaches, Mark, trying to stretch everybody out, putting their wideouts really close to the sidelines and trying to create some type of breathing room in the interior. 3rd down and a long 4 now for the Roos from their own 35. Pass is caught on the near side, but it's very close to a first down. McKnight that time to McKnight. And a spot at the 33 will be about a half-yard shy. The Roos fans don't like the spot a whole lot. And anyway, it'll be 4th and about a half a yard, and Coach Carrere will probably decide to punt.
Oh, I'm sure he will, Jimmy, as it looks like he's bringing in the punting unit. But again, it did look like a favorable spot for Amite. I thought he had a little bit more running room out there, but that short passing game, something that's going to be open against Amite. They like to play soft zone defense and come up and punish you and get a big pass rush. But if McKnight has time to throw, that could be a big part of their offense tonight.
Hard back to punt, gets it off, a line drive kick, end over end, should get a good bounce inside the 20 and taken there by Addison. To the left side, picks up a nice peel block and now has some room. 25-30, can he beat this man? And no, he strips up at the 33. Nice tackle that time by Mac Garrett. Nice open field trip up by Mac Garrett.
And again, there you see the Kentwood speed. Jarrell Carter had some open running room. And Jarrell Carter, just a junior, is already drawing looks from several big-time colleges. And he's a transfer from Hammond. He had open running room, but again, right there, things were hemmed in at about the 32-yard line. And you see the Kentwood speed just rear its head here tonight. And it is phenomenal that a Class 1A football team has that much physical ability and running speed. It's really amazing.
A 50-yard punt and a 16-yard return that time. And back in the game after being shaken up is Brandon Wagner, the starting quarterback. Batiste up the middle, a little yardage, still fighting for more, but can't get by the first man at the 35. Sarek Johnson again on the tackle, about 2 that time for C.J. C.J. Batiste.
Johnson.
Right there, we have an official timeout on the play. Timeout taken by Amy. Batiste had a little bit of a cutback running lane there, but he couldn't see it. Donald Career is irate with his football team.
7:56, no score. Kentwood and Amite on our high school game of the week. Back to action on our FPTV high school game of the week on Channel 17. Jimmy Ott along with Mark Willoughby. A 2nd down and 8 at the 7:56 mark here in the second quarter of play. 2 wide outs to the near side, 1 to the top of your screen as Wagner under center. In motion to the left side is Solomon. Batiste pops one, 40, 45, and out to the 47-yard line. Quick hitter for 12 that time for C.J. Batiste.
You saw the good footwork by Batiste, not only to get through the hole, but then to get into the secondary. But you saw a great open field tackle there by Mitch Winters. If Winters doesn't come up and trip up the feet of Batiste, we're looking at 6 points on the scoreboard here in the first half. But an excellent, again, that's what Kentwood does so well. It separates them from other Class 1A teams is good open field tackling in their secondary.
7:40 and counting left to go in the half. No score. Amite with another drive. And when they got away from Batiste is where the drive stalled last time. Batiste again up the middle, 2, maybe 3, right to midfield. And that is what seems to be working right now for the Warriors as Batiste.
Well, he's got to be what works for him because he's the heart and soul of that offense. Obviously, no chance to throw the football. They haven't been able to protect the quarterback. But Amite's got to do a little better job on first down, maybe get more 4 and 5 yards instead of those 2 and 3 yard gains.
When do you try and pop the play action on a neutral down is the question. Here's that toss sweep. Batiste cuts upfield. A flag on the play. This one will probably come back as Batiste fumbles the ball out of bounds. And what looked like to be a 12-yard gain for the Warriors looks like will come back. We'll wait for the call. But the flag went down at the Amite 46 and took place at the point of attack where they would try before Batiste cut back to the left side of the field. Appears to be some type of illegal block.
Well, it looked like they had a double team on the outside linebacker who came up to seal that playoff. Good adjustment by Doug Maceda, the defensive coordinator for Kentwood. We saw that play pop for some yardage a couple of times earlier, but they seal that off. But Batiste made a nice cutback, and looks like this one's going to come back, Jimmy. He did fumble the football, which Kentwood is notorious for doing, forcing turnovers. But looks like this is going to come back.
All against the Warriors.
So we're going to march this football back, and again, nice adjustment defensively by Kentwood. Credit Batiste with being able to find running room. And Jimmy, this ball game's already taking on the look of last year's Independence Kentwood football game, which was almost a carbon copy of this one. Neither team could move it at all in the first half until Kentwood finally broke on top, and that seems to always be the case when these ball clubs get together.
The hold is marked off from the spot of the foul, so it'll cost Amite 13. Instead of a 13-yard pickup, it moves them back 13, and this is when the obvious passing situations are going to have so many problems tonight against Kentwood. So we'll see what Coach Donald Career elects to do. 2nd and 20 now, ball back at his own 37-yard line. Top of your screen, Jarrell Carter now in motion to the right side. He will get it, tries to get by a man, but he is tackled, driven down by Ronnie Wesby. And the Rouge just don't miss many open field tackles.
Oh, no, they don't. And right there is the traditional Amite speed play. But Carter is coming full speed across the field, and it's just, he had a room to cut up. But anytime you're running full speed in one direction, it's just hard on grass to cut it back inside. If you would have been maybe running maybe a 3/4 speed, he might have been able to turn that one inside. But again, a great open field tackle by Wesby. And again, Kentwood playing just absolutely outstanding defense here in the first half.
Norfolk Medical Center, Norfolk.
3rd down and 21. A loss of 1 on that play. Unbalanced right this time for Amite and a flag.
It's all foul.
And we may have a delay of game against Amite.
2 much
And
time.
that's what it is, and that'll cost them 5 more.
Back it up 5.
Well, right here, Jimmy, I would be very surprised
Third and
if they try
25.
to put the ball in the air here. They've had absolutely no time to throw the football. The only 2 attempts, or 3 attempts that they've tried, and they'll probably just try to cut their losses, maybe run a speed play or hand one off to Batiste and try to punt it away and play field position.
This one too, Mark, with 5:50 to go in the half. Kentwood with the stop here, not allowing a meet to get much yardage, could probably get their best field position of the evening, starting out with the opening kickoff deep in their own territory. Back to pass, pressured, flush, now buying some time and getting it out to Batiste. What a job. Batiste breaks the tackle, still going out to midfield. 19 yards on the pickup that time. An incredible escape job by Brandon Wagner as he found Batiste, and Batiste out in the open field delivering some of his own punishment, but the penalty's just too much to overcome. But as we talked about, that will buy a meet some field position.
Well, certainly. Now you get a chance to pin him deep, but Brandon Wagner, we've seen him grow up over the last 2 years, Jimmy. Really had a big game against Evangel last year in the playoffs, and that spurred some confidence. And that's a play right there. He may have panicked last year. That time he kept his feet calm, found Batiste for some yardage.
Hornsby back at his 36, waiting the snap. Clean one, he gets it off. High, short kick will hit at the 28 and taken a meet bounce, and a very good one, all the way down to the 15-yard line. And so a 36-yard punt with no return, a very effective one. And just as we talked about, Kentwood looked like they may have are about to get the ball around midfield, but the C.J. Batiste 19-yard reception and the 36-yard punt with no return, and Kentwood back at their own 15. So this is where the Roos now have to be careful in such a tight game.
Well, again, this ball game very similar to last year's Kentwood Independence game, was a battle of field position that Kentwood ended up taking over just like this. And we have another timeout. Jimmy, it looks like another official timeout, and we'll keep it right here. You know, we talked about the Kentwood defense. Let's talk a little bit about the A-Meet unit. It's outstanding as well. They're led by Dorsett Buckles, the brother of former LSU cornerback and now current GA Carlton Buckles, who patrols that middle, and he's an outstanding player, can roam sideline to sideline, very physical. Also, Okacha and others on that defense. Chris Gordon we've talked about already. So both of these defenses are perhaps the premier defenses in their respective classes.
You know, Mark, coming down here and doing some work in Tangipahoa Parish is a little bit new for me. Deke and I on the Sports Weekly here on Channel 17, and we discussed it a little bit on one of our first 2 shows, but you who have been down here so long, never, I can't imagine never has there been this much national attention in this parish as far as the quality of prospects coming out this year.
Well, Jimmy, there really hasn't, and it's due to the quality coaching in this parish that I think that we've seen evolve over the last 10 or 12 years, starting with, you know, Charles Baglio probably starting it all, and now you have the likes of Donald and David Career, Carmen Moore at Hammond High, and Jeff Lyons down at Ponchatoula, Ed Rigby at LaRonger. It's good coaching. Good coaching gets out the athletes. Before, the athletes were in the hallways. They weren't coming out for football, and now they are at each of the respective schools, and that's why we've seen the quality escalate in Tangipahoa Parish.
McKnight under center, 2 wingback set, play action, looking to pass, fires downfield, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Mitch Winters. And so the first play action that we see for the Roos, McKnight delivered it on time, but unable to hold on, and 2nd and 10 now as the clock stopped with 4:45 to go in the half.
You don't see that very often. McKnight, or Shedrick McKnight's a very accurate thrower. He's only 5'6", 5'7", but right there, Mitch Winters dropped that football. You don't see that happen too often, Jimmy.
Matt Garrett, the lone setback. Rolling to the right side is McKnight. He fires again. This time, is it caught? Incomplete. A great grab, but they say that the ground assisted the reception that time. Alfred Ard, with a huge game in the Superdome last year that I had a chance to witness and call on the radio, but Ard did all he could to try and sell the catch, and I'm not so sure he didn't get it.
Jimmy, it looked from here like he certainly had the football. Now, whether the football scraped across the ground as he dove, we couldn't tell, but not a great effort nonetheless, and a nice-looking throw by McKnight to get the ball out there against pressure And I tell you what, that's something Kentwood's going to have to be able to do, is throw that short passing game to be successful tonight.
Important down here. On 3rd and 10, Roos at their own 15. 4 wide out set. McKnight back to pass, pressured, and he is dropped back at the 8-yard line, laying the initial hit that time for the A-Meat Warriors, number 92, James Brown. James Brown with the sack, the junior defensive lineman, and now A-Meat will have a chance to get some great field position with just over 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Couldn't really tell, Jimmy. It looked like, excuse me, A-Meat might have came with a stunt with Brumfield coming inside and Brown looping over the top or looping outside, and that caused some confusion in that Kentwood offensive line, and they came unmolested on Shedrick McKnight. He had no chance.
We'll take a timeout as well with 4:06 to go in the first half. No score, Kentwood and A-Meat. 6 to go in the first half in this scoreless tie between Kentwood and A-Meat. A battle of unanimous number 1 selections in 1 and 3A, and 10 men on the line of scrimmage for A-Meat trying to come after the punter. Garrett back 7 yards deep in his end zone, waiting for the snap. Snap is a good one. A rush is on, and a high wobbly kick will come down. Which way will it bounce? It'll take a Kentwood bounce about 6 more yards to the 35-yard line.
So the Warriors will
So
take over at the Kangaroo 34-yard line.
a 21-yard punt with, a 31-yard punt with no return. And A-Meat now with just under 4 minutes to go in business again.
Well, Jimmy, A-Meat's got to be happy. They're playing the game. The field position has been very favorable to the Warriors tonight. They've played pretty much the entire first half, if not at midfield in Kentwood territory. And again, they have been unable to capitalize, which has got to make David's career feel mighty good. And right here is a big series of downs for the Warriors. They try to score before the half.
The Roos defense has turned away a couple of threats by A-Meat. Batiste with some room. Look out! Inside the 20 to the 18. 17 right off the left side by C.J. Batiste as he continues to be the most effective route to move the football for the Warriors.
Again, what makes Batiste so tough to tackle, his center of gravity is so low, but you saw right there at the point of attack, he was able to turn his body, Jimmy, and turn it sideways, and he basically got himself in an arm tackle situation. You cannot arm tackle C.J. Batiste, and he picks up the first down.
He runs so hard. 3.5 minutes to go, 1st and 10 at the 18. Batiste again, a little stutter step, and still fighting his way for about 2 to the 16. A scoreless tie, 3:20 and counting, left to go in the first half. A-Meat, you would think, Mark, at this juncture of the game has to get something on the board because you just aren't going to have many of these opportunities.
Well, Jimmy, they have an outstanding field goal kicker in Damian Thompson, who is probably good from 50 in, and he's very accurate, a straight-on kicker, so they're in field goal territory for Thompson.
Trying to spread people out again. They'll give it to Batiste and some room, but a nice tackle that time. Saving a touchdown was Johnny Poole.
79 on the carry, 79 on the defense.
Johnny Poole wrapped up Batiste just outside the 10. And it will be 3rd and a long one for A-Meat at 2:40 and counting left to go in the first half.
And we just said you can't arm tackle C.J. Batiste. Well, Johnny Poole basically arm tackled him there. He was able to get 2 arms around him, but it was pretty much the right ball. He was able to put a hook around him and pull him down to save the touchdown.
Poole will end up somewhere playing college football. Batiste again up the middle. First down run inside the 10, just inside the 9, close to the 8. It appears to be a first down. A player down for Kentwood. We will try and see as soon as we can find out who it is, but it is indeed a first down.
C.J. Batiste won that battle, Jimmy, as he was met right at the first down marker, lowered his head, and just ran over the Kentwood defender. And that extra effort right there and those powerful legs able to drive the defender forward. Not only did he pick up the first down, but the young man is down on the field as we speak. And it looked like he took a blow to the sternum. Not sure if he had the wind knocked out of him or what, but Batiste really packed a wallop and ran right over it.
Well, you know what? I don't see Johnny Poole standing. It's 52. Carl Morris, who's delivered a lot of licks himself tonight. A collision inside. Once again, we talk about, but this is just a physical brand of football that these two brothers like to preach to their teams. And maybe in this parish, I don't know if they appreciate or they think it's just the norm, but when they get outside, they flat out intimidate folks.
Well, they really do, especially Kentwood at the 1A level, because, Jimmy, 3A level down, they can hold their own with anyone. And most of the teams in 4A, maybe besides the John Curtis, but Kentwood, when they play those type of teams, really intimidate them. They meet, of course, at the 3A level. There's some teams that can play with them, but Morris coming out of the ball game, a big blow with A-Meet inside the 10-yard line.
Kentwood's got the key on Batiste right here. First and goal at the 8, you got to think he's getting it. Lone setback he does off the left side, fighting his way close to the 5 before he is driven back. His forward momentum will
Second and goal for the Warriors.
just outside the 5-yard line.
What this does, Jimmy, Morris has to come out of the ball game, which moves Seric Johnson, the LSU commitment, inside the middle. So that puts him a little bit out of position, and right there, the speed was open. Had they handed it off to Dennis Edwards, they chose to run the dive to Batiste, and now they're going to bring in some defensive personnel to bring in that meat package. Dorsett Buckles and company entering the ball game.
On a meat side, they're looking to go heavy right here as well, because there were a number of Kentwood Roos waiting for Batiste there, so they will bring some people in tight now. Also coming in is Leonard Brumfield. They are lined up in the slot on the left side. Getting it on the left side is Carter, and he will go into the end zone on that speed play. Carter in motion to the left side, timed the snap, got the handoff from Wagner, and strolled into the end zone as Batiste drew all the attention inside, and they pop him outside for the first score of the game.
Well, again, A-Meet goes with that little bunch formation. The trips look to the left. First time they've been in that formation tonight. Again, you have linebackers out of position, maybe not knowing exactly how to play it. And Jarrell Carter, with an outstanding foot speed, turned the corner for the touchdown, and A-Meet draws first blood here in the first half with 1:09 to play.
There's some confusion personnel-wise for A-Meet, but they still have plenty enough time. Into attempt the point after is Thompson, and it is good. 1:09 to go in the first half. A-Meet strikes first. They lead it 7-0 on the high school game of the week on FPTV Channel 17. 7-0 A-Meet after they take advantage of the field position. 35-yard drive that time in 2:22 as they take a 7-0 lead, and Thompson's kick will go out of bounds, and Kentwood will take over at the 35 if they elect to do so.
That's a 15-yard mistake by A-Meet, because Thompson routinely pounds the ball 4 or 5 yards deep in the end zone, and looked like he got a little jacked up there and hit that one off the side of his foot. That's going to give Kentwood pretty good field position as a 35. Don't underestimate David Career. He may try to, go for a quick strike. Plenty of time with 1:09 to play in the half.
First and 10.
I believe 2 timeouts left for the Roos and 1:09 to work with as they trail for the first time tonight, 7-0. McKnight split to the near side. Sweep to the right side. That is Winters. Winters busting into the clear. Out past the 40 to the 43 before he is gang tackled there. An 8-yard carry that time by Winters, and the clock is running now at 53 seconds to go.
A-Meet had the play defensed, Jimmy, but poor tackling over there by the A-Meet defender. Couldn't see who it was. Shifty footwork by Winters, got 9 yards, and now let's see if Kentwood decides to take some quick strikes here.
2nd and 2 with 35 seconds to go in the first half. A reverse to the near side. That is Ard. Ard with a block at the 50, 45, and knocked down at the 41. The clock will stop with 24 seconds to go in the half, and a timeout as well. So 1 timeout remaining for the Roos, and they are threatening an A-Meet defender down on the play as well. We'll take a timeout as well. 7-0. A-Meet over Kentwood. 24 seconds before the halftime break. 24 seconds to go. Number 76, you see Troy Brumfield, the junior defensive lineman. 6'2", 195. I'd say a little bit heavier than that, Mark.
Well, I think he went on a diet before the programs went to press, but since then he's beefed up quite a bit. But, Jimmy, not sure exactly what the injury was. Looks like he may have had they had his bell rung. He's coming off rather woozy. Looks like his legs are okay, so that may be a stinger to the shoulder. He got his bell rung.
Well, we knew last year around this situation, Demetrius Hookman would be the guy that would go to. Who's that guy now?
Well, it looks like Ard or Winters may be the guy in this situation. Let's see what happens.
Ard is split to the right side. In motion now is Winters. Firing it downfield to Ard, overthrown and picked off. Intercepted by the Warriors. Number 31, Patrick Warford, with the INT with 9 seconds to go, and that will pretty much do it for half. A deep drop by that time, and Ard never really had a shot to get to it, and that's the kind of situation you go against when you don't have much time to work with.
Well, surprised right there that David Career decided to go deep that soon. You can't beat A-Meet deep during the course of the regular part of the ball game, much less when there's not a lot of time left. They do not like to let you run behind them. They'll give you a 10, 15-yard cushion. I'm surprised they didn't go to some intermediate out routes. Perhaps march the ball a little quicker.
A knee as the Warriors take over at their own 4, and that will do it. Halftime here under the tank. A-Meet 7, Kentwood nothing. This is the FPTV High School Game of the Week.
For generations, Citizens Finance has been known as Money Headquarters, with money to lend for any worthwhile purpose. Real estate loans, furniture and appliances, home equity loans, consolidation loans, and first and second mortgages. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters. Stop by today. There's an office near you. Amite, Ponchatoula, Kentwood, Covington, and Hammond. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters.
Mike's Glass and Radiator in Independence, where you'll find Mike Muscarella and his crew hard at work on a full range of services. Whether you need a radiator repaired or conditioned, or just your annual inspection sticker, you'll find Mike Muscarella easy to work with. Mike has all styles of glass, custom cut to fit. Need a windshield? Mike Muscarella will have you back on the road in no time. Mike is easy to find, just off Highway 51 in Independence. Mike's Glass and Radiator.
kickoff here under the tank in Kentwood as this battle of number ones in Class 1A and 3A. Amite with a late touchdown. About a minute to go in the first half takes a 7-0 lead into the second half of play. Amite with several opportunities, finally capitalizing on the fine field position from 35 yards out. C.J. Batiste knocking it down to about the 3 before they punched it in on that little reverse. Now the Kentwood, the Roos are big and physical, but one thing that may come into play in the second half, Mark, is the depth from the higher classification Warriors.
And Jimmy, in the past, it's something that hasn't affected them because they've been so physical and probably very deep to have a small roster, but this year's a little bit different. They don't have quite the same number of athletes that can go on both sides of the ball. So Amite, who's probably the deepest team in 3A, obviously with a big advantage in that part of the ball game, and we saw it take its toll in the later part of the first half. Let's see if the Kentwood Kangaroos can get regrouped and come out, but they've got to kick it off to Amite. And the big play of that first half, Jimmy, was that big 3rd down and 15 or 3rd down and 25 play where Amite was able to pick up about 15 yards, get the ball to midfield so they could pin Kentwood deep. Consequently, they were allowed to get good field position for their touchdown driving march.
How does Kentwood adjust to just put an extra man, try and stop C.J. Batiste, who's been so effective in the first half?
Well, I think with their pass rush, Jimmy, I think that you're going to see them do that, commit an extra man to the run, because quite frankly, Amite has had no time to throw the football tonight, and I'm not sure if Donald Career is going to even try to risk it here in the second half with a 7-0 lead.
Garrett will kick off for the Roos. A long driving kick will come down to Oscar Perry at the 9, 15, 20, slipped by a man at the 25 and down at the 26. So a 17-yard return that time by Oscar Perry, and the Warriors will put it into play 1st and 10. So we'll see right off the bat if Kentwood will try and cheat up a little bit with one of those defensive backs to try and help them out. Maybe slip in that extra guy in the box against C.J. Batiste.
Now, we talked about Amite's inability to throw the football in the first half. It would not surprise me if they tried to go some type of play action right here and hit them deep down the sidelines. This is a good opportunity to try it on 1st down. Amite's been backed up when they tried to throw in the first half.
Perry in the slot. But Batiste gets it off left tackle, bounces off a man in the open field. 30, stiff arms, one at the 33, 35, 40, 45, 50, and out of bounds at the 49. C.J. Batiste with a 24-yard carry around the left side, bouncing off a pack of Roos to begin with, and then stiff arming another one in the open field.
You can't meet Batiste in the hole high, and the initial tackler, I couldn't see who it was, or the attempted tackler for Kentwood. He was upright when he tried to hit him, and Batiste just simply bounced off of him, broke it to the outside, and he has enough speed to outrun defenders. He got down the sideline for big yardage.
Well, one thing that I noticed immediately, Carl Morris, the middle linebacker for the Roos, is out, having to put Sarek Johnson in that spot now. Batiste is met by Johnson and driven to the ground. 2 major college prospects right there, lighting it up right around midfield.
Well, Johnson, Jimmy, has played out of position. Well, I say out of position. For the Kentwood Kangaroos, he's played the proper position, but for what he's going to play in college, he's been out of position the last, since his high school career. He was a defensive end, defensive tackle last year. Has been a backup quarterback, a tailback, but he's going to probably be a strong safety or perhaps be in that drop linebacker situation that LSU likes to run. So he's going to be a secondary member when he gets to college.
2nd down and 9, and a confusion, and Amite will have to burn a timeout. We'll take one as well. 10:43 to go in the 3rd. Amite 7, Kentwood nothing.
Oakwood home. Carl Sponson, Kentwood Kangaroos and Warriors game. Oakwood home. On South Morrison Boulevard.
welcome back to Kentwood. 10:43 to go in the third quarter. Second down and 9 for Meat at the Kentwood 48. Perry in motion to the left side. He gets it, and he is hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped.
80.
Perry will lose about 3 on the play.
Oscar Perry.
Paul Dyson wrapped him up, and that's the downside of, running that. Trying to cut upfield and get your shoulder squared, get upfield north and south.
On the Warriors, 29-yard line.
If you get it sealed off on the outside and you force it back inside, it's tough to change direction, especially Oscar Perry, who can fly, Jimmy. It's just almost impossible, unless you're a Baptiste-type athlete, to cut that thing hard inside. Right there, they stopped him for the 2-yard loss.
Third down and 12. Play action. Back to pass, looking downfield. Has a man complete. 25 and down to the 21-yard line. Complete on the play to Damian Thompson. Thompson will haul it in for 29 from Wagner.
Damian Thompson.
The play action, you wonder how much it really sells the defense on 3rd and 12, but it did develop a crease for Thompson that time.
Well, that's a standard play in Donald Career's offense. They like to run a reverse to the tight end off of that. Oftentimes, the tight end will end up throwing the football right there. They ran the play action with Wagner, and he had Thompson down there all alone, made a nice, strong throw, and a great catch by Thompson for the first down.
Quarterback sneak. Wagner has some room inside the 15, close to the 13.
Number 9.
He's about a yard and a half shy of another first down.
Wagner.
So Meat with the score right before halftime and picking up right where they left off. A nice-looking drive this time. Of course, the big play.
2nd and 1.
29 yards from Wagner to Thompson to keep this thing going. Second down and a short 2 at the Kentwood 13. Again, Wagner with the quarterback sneak. Down to about the 11, right at the sticks. They may call for a measurement.
And Jimmy, right now, Donald Career feels like he has that defensive line of Kentwood worn down a little bit, because he likes to run the quarterback sneak. When he feels like his offensive linemen are really getting off the football and are getting a big push, they'll go to that quarterback sneak over and over and over, and quite often they'll push that pile forward 5 or 6 yards, and we're starting to see that now.
Batiste lines up just over the right tackle, unbalanced right side. Quick pitch. Batiste loses his footing, but still has enough power to get the first down and some more. C.J. Batiste from 11 yards out. He didn't even have much momentum right there, and still battled through a couple of rude defenders into the end zone for a touchdown. A late flag, and this may be a celebration. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Meat, which will be marked off on the kickoff.
Baptiste, he likes to let you know he scores touchdowns, Jimmy, and he was flagged for celebration there, which is going to make this a longer extra point, by the way. But again, it's tough enough to tackle Baptiste when you're full speed, when you're fresh. At the outset of a football game, it's even tougher when you're tired. And right now, Kentwood is a tired football team. It's early in the season, probably not in their best condition right now. And right there, we saw Baptiste break tackle after tackle, keep his balance. He almost slipped down on the play. He stayed on his feet, Jimmy, and was able to cut back for the touchdown. And Meat has taken over this football game with 8:22 to play in the third quarter.
Well, Meat controlled possession of the ball in the first half. A long drive to start the second half. The extra point misses badly to the left, and he'll keep it at 13. Along with that and a little bit of a depth disadvantage for Kentwood and Carl Morris on the sidelines. We'll see what the Roos are made up. We'll get the ball back with 8:22 to go in the first half. Meat 13, Kentwood nothing. Oh, yeah.
On October the 23rd, both can evaporate. State representative.
You have that
Strong
decision?
desire to serve the needs.
I think
into the end zone and the automatic touchback.
And so the Kangaroo will start from their own 20-yard line.
So Thompson takes his frustration out after missing the PAT and drives it way into the end zone. Kentwood takes over at their own 20.
And Jimmy, I was going to say, or I did say, told you off the air, I wasn't so sure if I would have taken that penalty on the kickoff, but right there, Thompson, who can bang it 6, 7, 8 yards deep in the end zone, did just that. So, again, that extra point could come back to haunt the AME Warriors later in this ballgame.
Kentwood needs to get something going here. Give off the right side, about 5 to the 25. That's on Matt Garrett, the fullback.
Garrett on the carry.
And McKnight has proved to be a capable passer. A couple of drops and a tough call and another controversial catch by Ard, and just ran out of time where he was forced to throw deep before halftime. 2nd down and 5. Very important drive here for the Roos. Give to the left side, trying to get around the corner. Slips a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and 2. Buckles, Dorset Buckles, made the initial hit on Addison. But could not wrap him up, and Addison gets about 2. It'll be 3rd and a
3rd down.
A long 2 here coming up for Kentwood.
And Jimmy, you're starting to see that Kentwood swagger starting to maybe question themselves a little bit. They're starting to walk to the line of scrimmage, aren't quite as confident. The fans are back on their heels right now. They may be in trouble.
3rd down and a long 2. Pass is complete for the 1st down out to the 33.
Pass is complete.
McKnight to
9.
Alfred Ard.
Alfred Ard.
And Ard keeps the drive going. A very important one. Clock will stop. They'll move the chains with 7:10 to go in the 3rd. And they need to keep their defense off the field, one, but try to
Highway 38.
get this thing going and make it a one-possession game.
I think that's what they're going to have to do for the remainder of this ball game, Jimmy, is those short intermediate passing routes. You can see the AME corners are giving a 6, 8 to 10-yard cushion.
Sweep near side, slips a tackle at the line of scrimmage, but not the second guy. Ephraim
35, Jeremy Coleman.
Okocha with the wrap up that time after a gain of 1. And it'll be 2nd down and 9.
And again, the running game has been almost non-existent for Kentwood tonight. They've had somewhat of some success here and there, but basically it's been those short passes that have been open. And let's see if the Roos trying to go to the air here on this down.
Ard is matched up at the top of your screen against Patrick Warford. Let's see if they go that way. They'll come to the bottom, complete on the play, and a big lick, jarring the ball loose, incomplete. The big hit that time by Milton Harrell.
Pass intended for Desmond McKnight.
And McKnight unable to hold on to the reception that time.
McKnight.
Even the defensive backs will lay a lick on you.
Jimmy, there's, I guess, the good side and the bad side. The good side is AME will give you the short pass. The bad side is they really come up and like to punish you. Their defensive backs are very physical and sure-handed tacklers, and they will lay a lick.
3rd down and 9, 6:14 mark in the 3rd. Roos down 13. McKnight back to pass just over the intended receiver at the 46-yard line.
Kentwood Co-op. Shop Kentwood Co-op for all your farm and lawn needs.
And that will bring up a 4th down, a punting situation now for the Roos. Pass was intended that time for Mikael McGee.
4th and 9 for Kentwood.
And now Kentwood will have to give the ball back to a meet where they have scored on their last 2 possessions.
And I like the defensive adjustment there by the Warriors. They went to a nickel situation where they had both at 6 defensive backs, and that's something you don't see too often out of the AME Warriors. And right there, nice adjustment, force that incompletion.
Low driving kick, bounces at the 45, taken at the 35. Jarrell Carter slips by a guy at the 35, gets a peel block, but it's going to be a clip. Carter going downfield, but this one's coming back. The 20 and 18 of clip at the 38 will bring it back, but a vicious block, but an illegal one right where Carter headed upfield at the 38.
And again, we talked about Jarrell Carter, the Hammond High transfer. I know they're
preliminary call against the Warriors.
Really lamenting that loss as he transferred to AME right before the season, and he shows his electrifying ability. He was able to juke some tacklers and get down the sidelines, had a burst of speed, and almost took it the distance. Unfortunately for A-Meat, a clip was called, which is going to push this thing way back to around the 22 or 23-yard line. So that's a big, big penalty against the A-Meat Warriors. Instead of having a chance to salt this ball game away, Jimmy, now they're going to be backed up in their own territory. A turnover here puts Kentwood back in business.
I missed the block that time, but kind of keeping an eye on Carter. So I didn't get a good vantage point of whether it was an illegal one or not. But the special teams, with these two teams, you better pay attention where you are, because you will get hit. It'll move the ball back to the 23-yard line. So a change of field position of 60 yards. But A-Meat has it, up 13, their biggest lead of the night. Off the left side, Batiste bouncing off a tackler into the secondary and out to the 40. More and more room inside for C.J. Batiste as the higher classification Warriors are starting to wear down the 1A Roos.
And Jimmy, last week, it's almost impossible to believe that C.J. Batiste was basically shut down by St. Helena. Had just 41 yards on 15 carries last week. Here tonight, it's got to be up around the century mark at least. And he is in rare form and looking like C.J. Batiste of old.
17 yards that time for Batiste. He is well over 100 for the game. Midway point of the third quarter. Batiste maybe won this time to the 41. Knifing in for the tackle that time, Johnny Poole. Poole leading the charge defensively that time for the Roos.
He did a good job right there, Jimmy, able to stay low, knifed under the offensive lineman's block, and was able to trip up Batiste. That's how you got to bring him down. You have to get him low, the lowest center of gravity. If you can do that, you're able to contain him. You just can't hit him high, and that's what Kentwood's problem has been. Here in the second half, they're hitting him too high, and he's able to bounce off the tackle.
Two wide outs to the near side. Morris in motion to the right side. He gets it, and he is stuck at the line of scrimmage. Sarek Johnson making a nice hit that time. No gain on the carry will bring up a 3rd and 9 as Perry could not get the shoulder squared upfield again. And that's something that will probably be a lot more effective against some teams with not quite the speed as Kentwood.
Oh, exactly. Right now, you can basically take that play and put it in your back pocket. Especially, it hasn't worked, but maybe it has, Jimmy, in some indirect ways, keeping them honest, allowing Batiste some running room up in the middle.
3rd down and 9. Roos need to get the ball back. 4-minute mark here in the third. They're down 13-0. Wagner will give it to Perry on the delay, trying to get around the corner. He can't. But a lineman can even run for the Roos. The initial hit that time, number 78 for the Roos, Paul Dyson. And a bunch of his friends, including number 71, Jeremy Williams. And A-Meat will be forced to punt with 3.5 to go in the third.
Jimmy, I know you're relatively new to this area. I know you're doing the Sports Weekly show, but this is your first Kentwood A-Meat matchup. And you get a chance to see prep football around the state. How do these two teams stack up statewide, in your opinion? Obviously.
And nobody in 1A going to play with Kentwood, I can tell you that right now. 3A, you've got an upstart program with Sid Edwards, who's coached the likes of P.J. Franklin and Jamichael Young down from this area in his AAU Louisiana Breeze team, who've won a couple of national championships. He's at Redemptress, maybe a year away, but they're blowing teams out right now. Here's the punt, the 30-yard line, the 35, 40, slips by, out to the 41, and still going to the 42. On the return that time, Mitch Winters with a nice 15-yard return, shaken up for A-Meat. Back at the 25 was Leonard Brumfield. Brumfield was the first guy down on the coverage, but Winters does provide good field position for Kentwood. They will assist, I'll continue that thought. Redemptress, Carr, who had some great matchups. Carr winning and going on to win the state championship behind now second-year defensive back Patrick Surtain with the Miami Dolphins. And when they beat A-Meat returning the favor, going on to beat St. James in the finals on P.J. Franklin's touchdown there. They're back, I don't think quite as polished has this A-Meat team, you have to wonder how all the controversy will affect Rick Gailey's club. It's already shown, but can he get that thing back on track? That's not to this extent, but he's had to overcome some controversy in the past as well.
And Jimmy, you talk about the controversy in St. James Parish. That's something that perhaps later on in the season, once they get a full complement of players, could work to their advantage. Could be a rallying point around that football team, especially if they're able to overcome it here in the early going.
The only problem is the football coach, Rick Gailey, is the focus of the controversy, and rumored to be, basically a decision between he and the principal. But there's no doubt A-Meat is back. We know about Independence and how well-schooled they are. It seemed like the tough lump that they took when they were beaten badly by Evangel in their first state title appearance was a growing experience and much more prepared without a LeBrandon Tofield a year after. And just watching them early on, maybe not the big, a Sieber or a Tofield, but certainly the program, you're starting to get that going because they're taking care of some teams pretty handily early on.
Well, they're led by just a very powerful, massive offensive line that can run the football against anybody. That's basically what runs that offense, and their defense is very physical and very quick. So that's what keeps them in the ball game. They lost their projected starting quarterback over the summer, who's not with the ball club, but the two backups have been able to come in and do the job. So they're going to be around as well. Not sure if they'll be at the level they were a year ago, but they're a solid football team. So 3A looks to be pretty wide open.
One team to watch is, Southern Lab had their games, and remember Southern Lab beat Kentwood in the finals a few years ago, and in double overtime. But St. John of Plaquemine, who Kentwood took care of very easily, is making some noise in 1A earlier. They routed Southern Lab in the first week of the regular season and have a very good Bruley team this week who they'll take on, but not nearly at the level of this Kentwood team. First and 10, Roos at their own 42. Up the middle, Garrett, big yardage out to the 50. The big fullback for 8 right up the middle. And the Roos with 2:45, a 2nd and 2 coming up.
Well, Garrett's been quiet here perhaps since the first quarter. He had some good running room on his first 2 carries of the ball game, and he's been quiet and really hasn't touched the football. Let's see if David Career decides to pound down the football field with Matt Garrett.
2nd and 2, Garrett again is wrapped up near the first down marker. He appears to be just shy. But you can see even David Career's club speeding up things a little bit, getting out of the huddle just a little bit, because they are not a team that is very effective, with a 2-minute hurry-up type of offense.
Well, they're still in the ball game, Jimmy. You have plenty of time left. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, a whole fourth quarter to play, and all you got to do is just get one score. It was very imperative that they had that penalty so they didn't go down 3 scores. Now they're still very much in the football game.
3rd and less than a yard, quarterback sneak. More than enough for the quarterback, McKnight. Shedrick McKnight with 2 on the keeper to the 46. Clock will stop with 1:47 to go in the third quarter of play. Roos down 13-0 at the hands of A-Meat here late in the third.
Well, Kentwood lost Carl Morris, their fine middle linebacker. Kentwood losing Leonard Brumfield, their outstanding defensive end, and that seems to have had effect here on this drive.
Hard to the top of your screen. Sweep left side and some room. Addison on the carry inside the 40. Cedric Addison down to the 38. He'll get 7. Big chunks of yardage on first down for the Roos.
And right here, Jimmy, Kentwood starting to show the mark of a champion. Almost down, but not quite out. They're coming back now with several plays on the ground. They haven't had a lot of success running the football, but on this drive, they've marched the ball some 20, 25 yards and are in business.
Sweep right side, and it is enough for a first down. Mitch Winters on the carry just inside the 35. Give him 4 on the carry. Clock stop with 55 seconds to go in the third. It'll be first and 10 for the Roos at the 34.
I'll tell you right now, Jimmy, it looks like A-Meat's the team that's dragging a little bit. They're walking back to the huddle, kind of hands on their hips, and they look a little bit back on their heels.
Roos have to punch it in here. First and 10 at the 34. A-Meat wants a timeout, some confusion, and they just get it with 41 seconds to go in the third quarter. We'll take a timeout as well. A-Meat 13, Kentwood nothing on our Channel 17 Game of the Week. First and 10 for the Roos. Back to action. 13-0. They meet with the lead late in the third. Give to Garrett up the middle, and big yardage again. About 9 to the 25. And the Roos they will go right back to the line of scrimmage.
And Jimmy, this is what St. Helena did to Amite last week. Hit them on quick snap counts right up the gut of the defense.
Garrett again off the right side. First down near the 20. And that will stop the clock with 14 seconds as they will move the chains. But on this drive, 8, 7, and 9 on first down carries for Matt Garrett.
And Amite is, again, back on their heels, not getting set at the line of scrimmage. Kentwood going with a quick snap count, catching Amite off guard, and they're powering over the middle of that defensive front.
Taking the snap with just 2 seconds on the game clock. Here is Winters off the right side. And he will get about 3 to the 17, and that will do it for the third quarter of play. At the end of 3, Amite 13, Kentwood nothing, but the Roos are driving. This is the Channel 17 High School Game of the Week.
For generations, Citizens Finance has been known as Money Headquarters, with money to lend for any worthwhile purpose. Real estate loans, furniture and appliances, home equity loans, consolidation loans, and first and second mortgages. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters. Stop by today. There's an office near you. And meet Ponchatoula, Kentwood, Covington, and Hammond. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters.
Mike's Glass and Radiator in Independence, where you'll find Mike Muscarella and his crew hard at work on a full range of services. Whether you need a radiator repaired or conditioned, or just your annual inspection sticker, you'll find Mike Muscarella easy to work with. Mike has all styles of glass, custom cut to fit. Need a windshield? Mike Muscarella will have you back on the road in no time. Mike is easy to find, just off Highway 51 in Independence. Mike's Glass and Radiator.
Meet on top 13 to nothing over Kentwood. The champs are fighting back. McKnight to Garrett up the middle off the left side and inside the 15 to about the 14. It'll be third down and 4 coming up here for the Roos.
And Jimmy, the recipe for this drive is quite simple. It's Matt Garrett steady in between the guards and tackles, and an occasional end around or reverse to Winters, and that's been it on this drive. It's been all over the ground. And right here, third and 4, let's see if they try something play action.
4 wide out set. Keeper to the left side, but nothing for McKnight as he is wrapped up for a 1-yard loss by Leonard Brumfield. Brumfield with the penetration. And that's one of the chances you take when you spread so many people out. Brumfield got in, made the penetration, and now it's fourth down and 5, a huge play here.
You wonder if that play was designed to be read or it was just a straight keep, because if it was designed to be read, it was a bad read because Leonard Brumfield was in the backfield on the play.
Art at the bottom of your screen. McKnight looks for him. Pressured, and now we'll have to run. Gets by 2 men and has the first down inside the 10 to the 6. Unbelievable run that time by Shedrick McKnight. And McKnight on 4th and 5 was stuck. He didn't have it. They were going to give the ball back. They meet up 13 with a couple of jukes, Mark, and he's got a first and goal, and Kentwood just 7 yards from getting back into this.
Harry Houdini dancing in his grave on that escape move there by Shedrick McKnight. He was tackled in the backfield but got away for the first down. Big drive for Kentwood.
10.5 to go, down 13. Give to Winters off the right side, maybe 1, close to the 5. Leading the charge for a meet that time. Big number 76 for the Warriors. That's Troy Brumfield.
And Jimmy, Amite has some bumps and bruises on that defense. Brumfield playing injured, hurt his ankle earlier in the half. Brumfield went down in the first quarter. So Amite a little banged up on that defensive front right now.
Second down and goal just outside the 5-yard line. McKnight, left side, give to Addison, trying to get around the corner. Can't do it. He is horse-collared down by Jarrell Carter. Carter with the nice open field tackle, and it'll be third down and goal.
Carter's certainly a nice addition to this football team. Again, from his free safety position, came up, and normally your free safeties in high school football, Jimmy, aren't that physical. but Carter came up, got him around the neck, and made a physical tackle as Kentwood calls a timeout on 3rd and 5.
Timeout, Kangaroo.
Timeout by
Sonny.
Coach David Carrere as he wants to.
The game. Stop by and visit Sonny.
He wants to try and talk this over.
West.
Mark, what would you, I mean, it's so tough at this point, but McKnight pulled him out of a hole once as he had to tuck it under and sold out. He had cradled the ball. He gave up his option to pass and juked a couple of guys to convert on 4th and 5. And both Donald and David Carrere go out to their teams to talk to him.
Jimmy, it depends on what you're willing to stomach. If you're David Carrere, you could try to just hammer Winters in between the tackles. It's been very successful, and try to get it and make it an easier 4th down conversion, or you could try to go play action, get this puppy all in one shot.
Winters is in the left slot. Garrett, the big fullback, in the back. At the bottom of your screen, we've got Addison and Ard. Give to Winters off the right side, but he is hit at about the 4 and driven down. Buckles with the hit that time on Winters, and it will be 4th and goal from about the 3-yard line.
Jimmy, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if the Kentwood coaching staff sees it or not, but they have a mismatch out here on the slot receiver. They've got a slant if they want it. It's there. And they had a chance to get on that last possession, but they went with the end around, and it'll bring up a big 4th down here for Kentwood.
Ard is the guy at the bottom of your screen. Let's see if they go to him. Play action, looking across the middle, and complete. He had 2 guys. He had Garrett and Winters. It was kind of thrown in between them and broken up by Morgan Reed. Who was trying to cheat down to help out on Ard on the slant, held his ground just enough to make the play.
Jimmy, he threw that football in the only place he could throw it where it would be incomplete. He had 2 receivers going in opposite directions that were both wide open, and again, Reed able to get just enough of a paw on it to knock it down, and that is a huge play in this football game, as that could have put the death knell in the coffin for Kentwood.
Just 9:05 left to go. They meet with the ball back on down with a 13-0 lead. Quarterback sneak, and breaking it into the secondary is Wagner. Wagner with 9 that time on the quarterback sneak. So Amit trying to get out the hole and start to work on some of this clock.
Well, again, right there, going to the quarterback sneak. That's a play they like to go to often. Those linemen are foot to foot, and they like the base block, get the big surge. And right there, Wagner able to break a tackle and got close to the 1st down.
Batiste is the only setback. He will get it off the right side, has the 1st down, a little bit more. Out to the 18. CJ for 4 more. And the senior running back is having a night tonight in this big rivalry. So 8:20, the clock is stopped, and a huge defense that time for Amit on 4th down.
You got to feel that a couple of maybe 3 or 4 1st downs strung together here by Amit will be enough to put this one away. Kentwood down 2 scores, not a lot of time to get back in this ball game.
Batiste off the middle, fumbles the ball. It is picked up by LaRue. A big hit, and it's recovered by Paul Dyson in midair. And the Rouge, just like that, as the crowd is back on their heels, they think that it's looking kind of gloomy, and here you go. They lay a lick. They just did not catch the number. Whoever it was stuck his helmet right through the football and popped it out, and Dyson caught it in midair for the Rouge.
Again, I couldn't see who it was either, Jimmy, but if there's one constant in this Kentwood arsenal, is that they will play physical football, and they will force you to turn the football over. And right there, the hat on the ball forced it right up in the air. The big turnover, Kentwood in business at the 18-yard line.
1st and 10, sweeping the right side, Winters. Credit the hit that time to Kendall Cooper. So the Roos have a chance again. 7:45 and counting as the clock will keep running. 2nd down and
2nd and 10.
We'll call it 10 at the 18.
I tell you, you got to wonder, they were having all kinds of success with Matt Garrett just right up the gut, and they have gone away from that in their last 3 or 4 plays, Jimmy, and that's something you wonder about that.
McKnight back to pass, pressured, and this time he will not escape Buckles. Dorsett Buckles with the sack back near the 30-yard line. And they meet trying to dodge another bullet to maintain that 13-0 lead. It'll be 3rd down at 21.
Right there, Buckles came on a little bit of a delay underneath. The lineman pulled to get out on the rollout, and Buckles just sliding underneath his man, able to penetrate for the sack. He's been all over the place tonight, was all over the place last week to find Amite middle linebacker Dorsett Buckles.
3rd down and 21. Pitch to Garrett. Reverse back to the near side, but nothing doing. This time, a nice tackle by number 76, Troy Brumfield. Again, you talk about a guy who's been around the field tonight. Brumfield's had a night as well.
He certainly has, but again, you just wonder, Kentwood, Jimmy, marched the football, 75 yards down the field, basically pounding it between the tackles, and once they got inside the 10, they tried to go wide, and of course on this drive they've tried to go outside as well with absolutely no success. And right here they're faced with a 4th down and 20-21 yards at the 30-yard line, and this is no question the play of the football game.
Well, it'll be 4th down and 23. Another timeout taken by Kentwood with 6:23 remaining in the game. And there's not much you draw up on the board for this one. It's just a matter of maybe one of these Ruse and Ard or somebody like that just making a play. And they have to get all the way down to the 8-yard line for the 1st down. On 1st down, they got nothing. 2nd down, the Buckle sack for -9, and then Brumfield wraps up the ball carrier, McKnight, for another 3-yard loss. So 4th and 22, and once again, Amite scored in their last possession of the 1st half and their 1st possession of the 2nd half. A 35-yard drive and a 73-yard drive. McKnight will just have to air it out. Addison at the bottom. Pressure again. McKnight gets by it, airs it up, looking for Ard. Contact, no call, and that is going to fall incomplete. And Amite will take over on down. Pass intended that time for Mitch Winters.
Pass is incomplete.
Ard was also in the area, but the Warriors dodge another bullet, and now they can really try and put this thing away.
Well, right there, no design on that play. There's nothing you can design to pick up 20 yards. Basically, it's going to be an athletic play all the way, and the Amite athletes outperformed the Kentwood athletes on that play. But again, Winters nearly made a nice catch on the juggle, but a little contact down there, but I thought a good no call. It was incidental, and we're going to have a timeout on the field.
Timeout on the field, 6:14 remaining. Amite 13 and Kentwood nothing on your Channel 17 High School Game of the Week. High School Game of the Week. Jimmy Ott, Mark Willoughby here under the tank, where I don't know the last time the Roos have dropped one here, but they're in danger now, down 13 with 6:14 to go. Perry around the right side, about 3, maybe 4, near the 35.
Against Derek Johnson, continuing to play outstanding football tonight, able to cut Perry off the pass. What looked like a promising gain at the outset was stopped for just a 3-yard gain. And again, it's been a long time since Kentwood has lost a football game on this field. I would venture to say it's been many, many years. And they've lost some road games. I know they lost Independence 2 years ago down at Independence, but Jimmy, it's been quite a while.
Wagner waiting for the back judge to put up his hand, signaling there are 10 seconds on the play clock, and then he gives it to Baptiste off the right side. 4 more out to the 39. It'll be 3rd down and 2 now for Amite. But this is one they just have to play in this area.
Oh, no question. Again, there were some things that were out of the control of each team, which was basically into this series that went on forever. They played every year for many, many years prior to 1990, but an unfortunate injury. At that time, Kentwood was Class A, Amite was in the old 3A, and I think the school board just felt like it was better if they didn't play because of the injury. But again, finally able to get this thing back on track in 1999.
3rd and 2, Wagner on the quarterback sneak, has enough for a first down, and that will run a couple more minutes. Clock is stopped now with 4:45 remaining. Not quite the dramatics as you had with Kentwood against Independence last year, but certainly these are two teams, not just because of their preseason rankings, but a lot of expectation to get back in the dome, as we saw when Kentwood took on Independence last year, both of those teams playing for championships.
Well, no doubt about it. This game basically mirroring somewhat that game. I think both teams have moved the ball a little bit better here tonight than either team did last year. But again, Amite showing that they are deserving of that #1 ranking. Last week, a little bit tentative, back on their heels against St. Helena. Perhaps looking forward to this ball game here tonight.
Well, don't you think, Mark, as it'll be offsides against Kentwood, once you jump into the neutral zone, it's a dead ball foul in a high school level. But could that have been the case for the Mighty Roos, too, who were kind of got down 7-0 and were tied at half last week?
Well, no doubt about it. Again, they were playing a very athletic football team in Clinton, but you're right, Jimmy. Both teams probably looking a little bit ahead for this classic battle. Of course, Hammond, no room to rest. They got a big one next week with the Hammond Tornadoes.
Here you see Wagner waiting for the back judge. He signals, and now he will get under center on a 1st and 5. Batiste, and this is where he is really tough. Straight up the gut for 10. Number 30 loves the physical style of play. And likes to strut his stuff a little bit, but rightfully so. He has earned the right to walk with his chest out a little bit here in the late going.
He's got a lot to prove this week, Jimmy. Again, last week he was basically shut down by St. Helena. Could not find any running room at all. And tonight he wanted to prove that he's one of the premier backs in Louisiana, and he's doing that on this occasion.
New running back into the game now. That's number 34, LaMarcus Bennett.
34.
And Bennett will take it off the left side for about 2 or 3 as they really work on this clock now. 3:20 to go in the game. Of course, we want to invite everybody to come join Deke and myself as we tape the FPTV Sports Weekly every Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock. LSU Saints local high school statewide recruiting, and a little bit of that Tulane club. But we do it all, and we feature guests each and every week. We do it from Jordan's on Kate in downtown Hammond each and every Monday night. Here is Perry around the left side trying to get the corner, and it's a nice block that's springing for about a 5-yard gain out of bounds near the 35.
And Jimmy, I wanted to take time to congratulate you and Deke Bellavia for an outstanding job that you do on Sports Weekly television show. It's something that's long been overdue in Tangipahoa Parish, and I think as the weeks and months grow in the football season of 1999, the viewership's going to increase, and I know I've already heard people talking about it, and it's something that I know that fans of sports in this area have long been clamoring for, and finally we have it with you and Deke on Sports Weekly.
You can see you just want to try and capture some of the passion that you have down in this parish. As you can see, the incredible atmosphere here tonight. Here's a quarterback sneak again, close to the first down. Looks like Wagner will have it with 2.5 minutes to go, and they're just running this thing out, Mark.
Jimmy, you talked about passion here tonight. It's not going to end here. It's going to continue down the road in Amite next week. Hammond High on the Amite schedule for the first time since 1996, and that ought to be one whale of a Donnybrook again. Those two teams, no love lost, especially a couple of things going on in the offseason. Carter transferring up here to Amite, and I tell you what, there's going to be some fireworks at Russell Memorial Stadium next Friday night.
Once again, Wagner will wait till it's 10 seconds in the play clock and then get under center. Fumble! Wagner gets back on it. A lot of ball handling in the backfield that time, but they get back on it. And where's Joe Pisarcik? when you need him, but they'll get back on it. This one's just about done. But Kentwood, and some folks will come away from this. I know that Deke predicted Kentwood would win. I predicted that A-Meet would win, but because of the depth and just a little bit stronger club. Of course, though, one of the big plays in the game was when Carl Morris went out, who was having a fabulous game to that point.
Well, the game changed dramatically. Since his departure, A-Meet has scored both touchdowns with him out of the ball game.
Give off the right side to Edwards. But of course, this year too, and I had the opportunity to interview Coach Charlie Baglio last year in the Dome after such a courageous effort by the Independence Tigers against Evangel. We all know that Evangel has moved up to 5A. They say, yeah, they might be the best team in the state. They may be the best team in the country after beating John Curtis 28-20 last week. But that has some people an extra motivation for the folks down in Tangipahoa Parish like Independence and A-Meet.
Well, it certainly does. Anytime you have one of your locals or one of your own, I think everybody in the parish pulls for their parish rivals. And Independence playing with a nationally ranked team has got to spur on your ball club, and also the
big room for Carter. Jarrell Carter all the way down to the 10. He picks up 24 on the play, and that will do it. A-Meet, Coach Donald Career, Brandon Wagner will just go to the knee, and that will do it. But one thing I wanted to make a point, Kentwood, because I said the 3A team would maybe have an advantage over the 1A team. This is not your typical 1A team by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, no, it's not. This could very easily be the 3A state championship game, Jimmy. Both of these teams are that good. Again, Kentwood, certainly nothing to hang their head about tonight. They've proven they can still play with the elite and higher classification football, and they're still the overwhelming favorite to win the Class 1A state championship.
They may get to the Dome at 5A, man. They are a tough bunch, but tonight it's the Warriors' night. A-Meet comes to Kentwood and beats the Roos 13-0. A pride game here tonight in Tangipahoa Parish. But I'll tell you one thing, a special group of athletes. There's no place I'd rather be in the state than tonight, and you like to even get these teams back on the field at some time later in the year. It's just that much speed, that much physical play. But it was two drives. One right before the half, and we talked about it, on a 3rd and 30, C.J. Batiste got 21. They would punt after that and pin Kentwood back at their 15. 3 and out for the Roos, and the Warriors would get great field position at the 35 right before half, punch it in 6 plays later to take a 7-0 lead at half, and then the opening drive of the second half, C.J. Batiste was special, a big 3rd down and long conversion, a pass by Wagner, and they get it in. Batiste would finally score 13-0, your final, as 2 drives in the red zone by Kentwood in the second half. A-Meet would stop them on downs, Mark.
And again, Kentwood losing the services of Carl Morris for the remainder of the second half, who was basically a dominant player in the first half of play. And, that broke the back of the Kentwood defense. They were still game, but not game enough as A-Meet able to punch in those 2 touchdowns. But really the key of the ball game, or one of the keys of the ball game, was the Kentwood drive, which started deep in their own territory, basically running the ball down the field at will, got inside the 10 and bogged down, couldn't score, had a couple of guys open in the end zone. And Jimmy, when they didn't get that touchdown, things kind of just basically went on hold there. They got the turnover after that, but couldn't punch it in. But nonetheless, Kentwood's still a great football team. And Jimmy, this is only just beginning. It's still the 2nd week of the season. You have Hammond A-Meet next week. You have Kentwood Independence the following week. You have A-Meet and Independence, which is the big one in Tangipahoa Parish. And then you have Hammond and Ponchatoula later on in the season. I tell you what, rivalries in Tangipahoa Parish are remarkable and only getting better. You can see the celebration by the Warriors. They know what they accomplished here tonight under the tank. Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure, and we'll remind everybody once again to stay tuned during the week for our FPTV Sports Weekly as we highlight and discuss everything in the South Louisiana as far as
football is concerned, LSU, Saints, local, high school, and statewide recruiting, myself and Deke Bellavia. So, Mark, I'll let you close it out once again. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, Jimmy, my pleasure. Hopefully we can do it sometime again later on in the season. Jimmy Ott, everybody, an outstanding job on play-by-play tonight. Always a pleasure to have Jimmy in town. And again, you can catch the Otter and Deke Bellavia each week on the Sports Weekly show, taped at Jordan's on Cape Street every Monday night at 6 o'clock. Again, an outstanding football game here tonight. What everyone expected, a tough defensive battle that basically boiled down to a couple of breaks here and there. Amite able to take advantage, punching in a couple of touchdowns late in the first half and the start of the second half, and Kentwood just not enough to come back on this particular night. I'd like to also thank Robert Kane for his outstanding work on the camera tonight. As always, again, next week we will be at Russell Memorial Stadium again with these Amite Warriors as they take on the Hammond High Tornadoes. That should be another great ball game if Amite can come down after the elation of this win. And again, it goes on from there. Kentwood Independence the week after, and so on as the 1999 season progresses. For Jimmy Ott and Robert Kane, I'm Mark Willoughby bidding you a pleasant adieu. We'll see you next week right here on FPTV Channel 17 and the High School Game of the Week.